This conference will now be recorded.
We will be recording this webinar today so that we can use it for training purposes later. We do ask that everybody mute your line. You do that by clicking the microphone in the bottom left corner of your screen. That should be red with a line on it. Everyone could take a moment to make sure that that's done. We do have some background noise, so we do need to make sure that everybody does that.
Can y'all hear me? It's Tristan.
I can hear you. If you could please mute your line.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you for joining us for our training for Allscripts. Today we're going to be going over how to log into Allscripts. There are some specific nuances to that, so we just want to make sure that everybody knows how to do that as our basic first action in Allscripts. We will continue to do Allscripts training. The trainings are the same at 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. every day. So if you attend one, you do not need to attend both unless you want a refresher for the afternoon. We do have the training schedule already out. Those were sent in your invitations to this meeting. So please reference those and see if it is a topic that is applicable to you or not. You'll need to work with your division leader to determine also which courses should be attended by which departments. I've identified on the schedule the departments that it might be appropriate for. However, every division has a different workflow. We want to be conscientious of that. So please work with your division leader, your practice manager, to assure that you are attending the appropriate trainings. Our trainings are scheduled to be 30 minutes long. We will do a general presentation during that 30-minute time period. We ask that you do not ask any questions, that you keep all of the lines muted. We have over 120 people on this call, and it could be quickly chaotic if everybody opens their lines. So please keep your line muted. If you have questions, there is a speak bubble icon on your GoToMeeting page. You can click on that. That's our chat. You can list any questions there. In the last 5 minutes of the presentation, I will go through the questions and answer anything that is asked during my presentation. But I do ask that you hold the questions, post them to the chat, and then we'll address them at the end. So this morning at 7:30, we had a meeting for those people who use Macs. This does not include iPads, iPhones, or other iDevices. There's a specific Allscripts Pro app for that we will talk about at a later time. As a note, Allscripts does not officially support using an Apple computer or a Mac for connection through a remote desktop, which is the way that we're going to be logging into Allscripts. And so in order to work under those parameters, we've found some workarounds. We've found success with both of these options of using Desktop Parallels and the Jump app. Desktop Parallels is available, which is essentially running the Windows platform along with your your Apple operating system. The Windows does need to be Windows 10 in order to be compliant with that. The Jump app is $15. You can download that from your app store. It does require 2 extra logins per time to get through the Jump application piece of that. But is a less expensive option for those of you who want to try it on the Mac. If you have additional questions about how to set up a Mac or how to use a Mac for the Allscripts login, go ahead and send me an email and I'll get you connected with somebody. I'm not a Mac user, so I don't know all of the ins and outs and the specifics, but we do have a couple of users who have been using the platform under both of these solutions for the last few weeks and can speak to the usability of that and help you get that started if it's something that you would like to explore. So some other notes to address before we get started is computer settings. And Allscripts requires that we use Internet Explorer. It is not compatible with Chrome. It's not compatible with Firefox or Edge. If you try to launch the application under one of those solutions, it will look like it is connecting, but it won't fully connect. It will freeze out at some point. So make sure that you are on Internet Explorer in order to log into the Allscripts application. Also, zooming in the browser, we want to make sure that we are set at 100% zoom on the browser. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to see everything on the application. So we want to make sure that we are at 100% zoom. And then display settings. Our display settings, if not set at 100% in our display settings for our computer, will also prevent you from seeing the full application and the full screen. I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. So logging in today, we're going to go through this process, but just so that everyone understands the way that this works, through OCC, we are logging in through a cloud-based system. And the cloud-based system acts kind of like a computer when you log into your computer, and then you have to launch the individual applications that you want to use, such as email or Word or Excel, maybe your current practice management or EHR platforms. And so in order for us to get to the Allscripts cloud, we have our first login that we need to do, and that's our Allscripts cloud login. I'll show you how to do that. But that is through https://psi.prosuite.allscriptscloud.com. And that's the website that we're going to use to launch that Allscripts cloud login, which will then lead us to the application. So this is step one, like logging into your computer. All of you should have received your cloud and your application passwords from your practice managers. If you have not, please reach out to them directly and ask them to send those to you so that you can have your logins to try after our training. The first time that you log in, you're going to get a gray box. It's just on the very first time per computer that you log in. You're going to get a gray screen that asks for, it's a Windows security screen. And in order to get past that Windows security screen, you need to log in as your username, idcprod / and then your username for the cloud. So again, that's idcprod /, which is the key that's between the backspace and the enter button. And then put your cloud username in there. Your password will be your cloud password. For most of you, your cloud password is a complex password that has alpha, capital and lowercase letters, numbers, and characters all pushed into one password. There's no rhyme or reason to those. But those are your cloud passwords. So those are the complex passwords that you have are going to be what you use to log into the cloud. Currently, all of our application passwords are set to capital A, Allscripts, #1. And unless you have changed that individually, all passwords should be, for the application portion of it, should be capital A, Allscripts, pound or hashtag, for those of you who know it that way, Allscripts, hashtag or pound, and then the number 1 for your reference. So I'm going to take you through these settings so that you can see what it looks like for the Internet Explorer Zoom and how to set that. And then our display settings and making sure that we can see everything that we're supposed to see on the screen. If you try to log in and you are finding error in doing so, go back to these 3 things first. Number 1, make sure you know your password for Allscripts and the cloud. Make sure you know the difference between the 2. And then make sure that you're using Internet Explorer, check your zooming, and your display settings. So today, for the remaining period of time, we're going to go through our login process through the cloud. We're going to launch and log into the application. I'm going to show you some basic navigation of the Allscripts platform, show you how to pull and file charts, and then some basic where to find. What am I looking at? So in order to do that, here I am on my desktop, and I am going to first check my settings. I'm going to go to display. Here at display settings, I'm going to launch that. Down here, you'll see the scale and layout. And it's here that we want that settings of size of text, apps, and other items set at 100%. The display resolution can be played with as well, depending on how big or small you want your text and icons to be. If putting it at 100% of the size makes things too small or too large, you can play with the display resolution. I recommend that you work with your practice manager or your IT contact in order to get the specifics of what you're looking for and how to make it look right. As long as it says 100% on the size, then we'll have what we need for Allscripts. So next is Internet Explorer. We want to make sure that we are launching Internet Explorer. Here on Internet Explorer, under this Gear tab in the top right-hand corner, you click that and you'll see the zoom at 100%. And that's what we need to make sure that it's set at in order for us to be able to see everything that we need. Since we're set at 100%, we are going to launch the website. It's https://prosuite.allscripts.cloud.com. And when we launch that here, this is where our cloud login will appear. If you don't want to have to remember that psi.prosuite.allscriptscloud.com website, you can. Once you've launched it for the first time, you can click on the Internet Explorer icon in the web address page, and you can drag it out and post it to your desktop. And then next time you want to launch it, you can just double click on your professional suite app and then it will come directly to your login screen. So from here, we're going to log into our cloud. We're going to put our username, which for most of us is our first name dot last name. Some of you have a numeric character after, depending on the popularity of your name. And then this is where you'll put your password. And again, this is that complex password that should be given to you, if it hasn't already, by your practice manager to put into the password. You sign in from there, and it will take you to our folder. The Mountain folder indicates that we are a Mountain time. This is set by Allscripts, and so you can double click on Mountain. to get to our applications. This is where we will launch our applications. The up folder will take you back to that mountain. It will take you back one folder each time you click on it. Our admin module is for building the system, so you don't need to worry about that one. Our Allscripts PM is what we will use for scheduling and billing. Our clinical module is the EHR system. Our practice share is our folder that we have. It's a shared folder for all of OCC. I do ask that you use this sparingly. The practice share contents that are in there are available for everyone to see across all of OCC. There are no barriers to this. It is not individual. It's to everyone. So if you put something in this practice share folder, it will be viewable to all people across all of OCC. With 535 users of Allscripts, if everybody puts their top 5 favorite documents in that share folder, we would have a lot of documents. We have over 2,500 documents, and so I ask that you be very thoughtful in what you put in here. We do have another solution that we're going to use, which is more segmented to put any files or upload any documents to. So I ask that you hold off onto the practice share document right now and not upload anything on there. We're going to click a single click on the clinic module to launch the application. And it's going to connect us through our remote session. The first time you do this, it could take a little bit of time, so be patient. It's trying to collect all of the information, verify all of the securities, and then connect us to our cloud-based system, which sits in California for our server. So this is our login screen for our EHR. Down here at the bottom, you'll see that if it didn't launch right away, but you see this Allscripts Pro, you could log on to that too. Hiding, bear with me. You could make sure that you maximize it in order for it to come up, and then you can log in. This login information is your Allscripts #1 password, unless you have changed that. But everybody should have defaulted to Allscripts #1 with a capital A. When you log in, the application does not exist in configuration. Warning will come up, but that's okay. It's okay right now because we haven't loaded our live data in this. So you'll click OK through that screen, and then the system will launch. This is our Allscripts EHR platform. Up at the top left, we have a desktop and a patient button. If we're on desktop, that's going to show us from the appointment screen here. It's going to show us as when we're connected to the practice management system, all the practice management appointment information is going to flow into this screen, so we would be able to see what patients we have scheduled, and we would be able to check them in from the EHR side, from the clinical side, through this platform. We have locations for all of the divisions here. If your division isn't listed, that's okay. We're still working on publishing all of the locations, but all of the locations will be listed, and it's important that you choose the correct location for the division that you're working at. To see for future dates, you can come here to the date and do the drop-down arrow, and then you'll see the calendar, and you could choose the date for the schedule date that you want to see. As we're learning through the system, we're going to be working under our test patients. You can look up a patient in a couple of ways. If the patient was listed here in the appointment, we could double click and it would launch their chart. Up at the top where it says desktop and patient, the item that is gray is the place that you're sitting at. So right now we're sitting at the desktop. So we'll see that the desktop is gray. If we want to look up a patient, we click on patient and we could search for a patient here. You can also search for a patient by using this blue pull chart button up in the top left. That's like, for those of us who remember paper charts, that's like taking a chart out of the file. The orange here is refiling that back into the shelf. And then this green arrow next to it is passing that chart, handing it from one place to another. So this would be handing the chart from the medical assistant to X-ray, or the medical assistant to the DME team, or the medical assistant to the provider, or maybe the provider back to the medical assistant if something needs to be scheduled. And so that's what that green arrow is for. We're going to look up a patient by clicking on the blue arrow. Each of you should have a test patient, which is the word test, then your last name, and then your first name. You need to make sure that the box here is checked for search training patients, so you get the library of the full test database. If you don't have that box listed, you will not be able to find your search patient. As you can see, we have several test patients here. It's important that you use the test patient that was designed and created for you. So please make sure that you find your test patient and you work out of your test patient. If you do not have a test patient, go ahead and reach out to your practice manager and they can coordinate to get that done for you. So once we have our patient open, some general information here, we are defaulting to what's called the face sheet. The face sheet is going to tell us on the left side, left column, is going to give us the patient's medical history, allergies, past problem list, past medical history, family, social history, past surgical history. It's all going to be listed here on the left. On the right side, our first box is the patient's chart. This would be those tabs that we used to file through for correspondence and chart notes and past medical history and those kind of things. By file here is a different document type. That would be like sorting through the chart. Our middle right section is medication, for our medication module. And then down at the bottom is going to be our orders that we have ordered for this patient. This is a testing patient, so there's lots to see here when you pull up your testing patient. This will likely be blank, and then you can create your own history in there as we learn more and more. If you wanted to expand any of these views, in the top right-hand portion of each of these segments is an expand button. If you click on that, then it will expand it to the whole viewable screen here. And when you're done with this, you can click the minimize button in that same place in the top right-hand corner to go back to your normal face sheet view. This would be especially helpful if you wanted to find something in the chart, and instead of scrolling through the small box, you can expand it and then see everything that's listed on the in the patient's chart. And then when you're done, again, clicking that minimize button, and then it will go back to normal view. If you guys have any questions that you would like me to answer on the line, go ahead and put that into the chat right now, and we'll get ready to answer those questions. Up at the top, you'll see above for the patient, you'll see that on the very top that desktop and patient tab. To the right of that, you'll see the patient's name. That's who you're looking up right now. And then right below it is some designated information regarding this specific patient. We're going to go through that tomorrow as we set up our customized views to indicate what we want to see and what we don't want to see per patient, the things that are important to us. The icons to the left of the patient information, the first one is a results notification. We are going to go through our results process in about a week and a half, so look for that. Our next tab, the one that looks like an envelope, are messages that would be specific to this patient. The third one is an RX, it looks like a prescription pad. The prescription pad is specific for any pending prescription orders. And then the hand with the knot around the finger is indicating that there's a reminder to view. And so make sure that you take a look at those, and if there is a 1 or more listed there, then you'll need to click on it and we can see what that's all about and then respond as necessary. We do have 4 questions in our chat. Our first question is, when is our go live date? And the answer to that is that all divisions have a different go live date. We are doing this in phases. That's yet to be determined, but we want to take advantage of the time that we have as volumes are decreasing, that we can take full advantage and learn as much as we can about Allscripts so that we can streamline the process. A question is, for Mac users who did not make the 30-minute advanced tutorial, is there a recorded session? The answer is no, that was not recorded. However, we can get you in touch with some specific users that have used Parallels and Jump, both of those, and we can decide which one will work best for you. Another question is, are we able to see all patients' charts of appointments with all of the locations? Great question. The answer is yes, there are no barriers between division to division. And so all OCC patients are visible to all divisions. There's a HIPAA component to this that is that's expected, that every user is only looking at charts that apply to them that are necessary for them to treat patients. And so minimal access necessary is the way that we intend on moving forward with this. Our last question is, will patients be able to use our current check-in on iPads to enter demographics, health history, medications, allergies, like they do currently online prior to coming in? The answer to that is the current systems that you have with your current practice management or EHR systems will not pull over into the Allscripts system. However, we have an OCC-wide solution that we will be deploying to all divisions to take over for that. The intention is that that is going to be text to patients prior to their visit, that they can complete all of that pre-registration process. They can also pay their copays through that portal, and then we would be able to download it once they come in. We're in process of building that, and so we are not quite there yet, but we'll have more information on that as it goes live. I am going to stay on the chat for about 10 more minutes to answer any questions that might come in. Please join us tomorrow for our customization training, we'll go over more about what you can do to set up the view of your EHR to make it more usable and fit all in one screen so that you can see the things that you need to and that we can set the preferences on the top for patients. So thank you all for your time, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.